Welcome back to Broken Bobby's Transformation Page. If you are new to the page, in 1990 I became involved in the drug gang world. From 92 to '06, I spent a lot of time incarcerated. I tell these stories to let you know it don't have to be you. If you're young and thinking about trying something or you're figuring out how to get out, these are my stories of this lifestyle and how it affected me, and eventually I got out and transformed my life. So let's get into today's story.
So many times she could have just said screw me, but like she kept
She didn't give up on
going
you every time.
going
eh,
along for the ride.
Yeah, she didn't give up on you every time you came back. She'd let you back in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's like she could have
Uh-huh.
closed the door every time, like get out of here. you know.
Oh,
But
easily, yeah.
yeah,
No
but
doubt
she
about it.
loved you to the point where she had that little bit of hope that every time you came back, she's like, okay, like, and that's
Right.
that's where you were blessed and we were all blessed to have that because
Uh-huh.
she was the glue that held it all together. Because if she would have gave
No
up
doubt
on,
about it.
I'm not saying your life would
Yeah.
be messed up, but I mean it could have been a lot different.
Well, I don't know if I've told you this story, but I'm sure you've heard the story of when I sent her the letter telling her to move on when I
Yeah.
was in prison.
Mhm.
And when I sent that letter out, like I had pretty much given up and lost hope because I was in and out of jail so much that
That
it
was after the last.
like
That was the last time, right? After we left San Pedro.
yeah.
Okay.
Uh-huh. And the thing is, I was in and out so much, I was starting to feel more comfortable inside than I was outside. Because,
Mhm.
I mean, honestly, it's easy in there. Like, you don't have to worry about paying bills or doing any of that stuff. And I had sent that letter off, and I went and I told our rep that basically, I didn't care anymore. Give me some work. Let me earn my letters. This is going to be my career.
Yeah.
So let me make my name. And luckily, nothing came up in that week or two that it took to get a letter back. When your mom told me to stop being stupid
Yeah.
and to just do my time and come home. So like she definitely filled my sail up with wind to do the best I could to not get in trouble. But had she not responded or that letter come back another way, who knows if I
She'll
even
be in
ever
jail
would have
right
got
now.
out.
Yeah.
I very well may be.
Yeah.
So
That's crazy. I remember our letters. I think mom still has those letters.
yeah, I think she does too. Somewhere around the house.
Yeah. I
It's
remember writing
she had like
letters.
a whole box of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was that. The thing is, when you're locked up, those letters really mean a lot. Because there's no compassion in there. There's no love.
Yeah.
So
I would be so
that little
excited
glimpse of
to
hope.
get a letter.
Huh?
I would be so excited to get a letter. I'm sure to open it like this letter's for you. I'd be like, yay. But you want to know
Yeah.
another core memory of this is a really good core memory, okay? This is
Okay.
there's not all the stories are bad. So this is
Uh-huh.
a good one. So when you got out, I think you were living in a sober living house. And
Uh-huh.
it was a big house. It was
I think it was
I don't know.
Newhouse on Ninth and Arrowhead.
Yeah, it was like a two-story house. It was a big house.
Uh-huh.
We were there visiting, and I remember there was a bad storm, and
Okay.
I was always real still thinking like, oh, like, like, is he gonna go back to jail? Is he gonna leave again? Like, you know,
Right.
when you're little, you have those thoughts. Like you try not to get too happy. Like,
Yeah.
but
Your
okay,
guard
so
comes up. Yeah.
yeah. So you were living there, and we were visiting. It was all the guys living there, and like they had a bunch of families. Maybe it was like a visiting day or something, or like something like that. But it was like a
Uh-huh.
little. So there was like a big storm, like a big thunderstorm, and it was like hailing real bad. And
Uh-huh.
and after it was over, like the sun came out and everything. So we went outside, and there was like a bunch of like ice, but it looked like snow, but it was like all over the
Uh-huh.
cars outside. So it was like piled like
Uh-huh.
all over the cars. So I remember
Yeah.
everybody started like throwing snowballs at each other outside.
Yeah.
But in
Uh-huh.
my head, okay, this is gonna sound like so dramatic, but when I think about that, like that's one of the good core memories. Like that's one of the green
Yeah.
ones. In the Disney movie, the good ones were the green ones. That's one of the green ones. So
Yeah.
it's like, and when I think about that moment in my head, it's like a slow motion, like we're all like smiling and throwing snowballs at each other and like, oh.
Uh-huh.
Like that was like the greatest like moment, like with you being home from jail, and like it was like that moment,
Yeah.
like it was like, what's that? It's like serotonin. Is that that feeling you get like when you're
Yeah.
like happy or whatever? Like that's like the greatest.
Uh-huh.
Like think about that moment, like I feel like serotonin.
Yeah. That's
Like
good
I
stuff.
knew, I feel like I knew like that you were gonna stay around like after that moment. Like it was just such a
Yeah.
happy moment. And like I
Yeah.
remember what you were wearing and everything. Like you were wearing like a little button up, little black and gray checkered shirt and like everything.
Uh-huh.
Like that was like a real memory. Like a good childhood
Yeah.
memory. Yeah. Like that was a good
That,
core memory.
that's good. Yeah. Like I think a lot of the viewers don't, that are dealing with addiction, they don't realize how much stress it puts on our families and our loved ones. And a lot of times we as the addict, we don't think about it until we're behind bars, and we can't do anything. And like you don't come to the barbecue or whatever because you'd rather go and get high. But then when you're in jail, you wish you could go to that barbecue, or that birthday party or whatever it may be.
Yeah, because when they're like, "Oh, I'm fucking up my life." Wait, can I cuss?
Yeah, yeah, that's fine.
When
I
they're
can,
like,
I can leave it out.
okay, when they're like, "Oh, I'm messing up my life. I'm messing up my life." No, you're messing up your family's life, your kids' life, your spouse's
Absolutely.
life, because
Hmm.
you're getting high, you're feeling good. They're at home crying, wondering where you are. They're,
Uh-huh.
stressed. They're like, what's going on? Like, you're not just messing up your
Hmm.
life, you're affecting so many people's lives around you. It's
Uh-huh.
layers. There's so many layers to it. It's not just you. Because
Yeah.
you're
Go ahead.
you're gonna make your kids think that, oh, it's okay for their significant other to leave and come back in like a week. And oh, my
Hmm.
dad
Yeah.
my dad left and he came back and now look, like my mom's
Hmm.
together, like it's not
Yeah.
okay. It
I
affects.
think a big. Go
Go
ahead.
ahead. No, you go ahead.
I think a big eye-opening moment for me was there was a. I have to be careful how I word this, but there was a person who likes children,
Mhm.
and I haven't told this story on the channel yet. I'll get around to it at some point, but he was close to me in prison, and uh, the thing is, I think you were 13, and I think my other daughter Cora was 11,
Mhm.
and he had gotten legal paperwork, and he came back and he looked white as a ghost. And I said, What'd you get, homeboy? Let me see, because uh, that's just kind of how it was, like with the paperwork and stuff. And I read his paperwork, and his victim was 11, which was Cora's age, your sister.
Yeah.
And it was kind of an eye opener to me that who's protecting my girls out there. I should be doing that. That's my job, and I'm failing miserably here because I'm locked up, and you know Like, and then I missed one of Jacob's. I think I missed Jacob's first birthday, and like I just, like it's like I had an epiphany or something, and I said, what the hell am I doing here? Like, I need to get out there, and I need to be the man that, especially my daughters need to see, but I need to show my boy how to be a man as well, because I don't want to leave that up to anybody else to be that role model. I want to be that guy.
Yeah, because it's not just affecting your life. It's what we see.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like
Yeah.
it's how do I explain it? It's we didn't have any male role models
Uh-huh.
besides when you came around. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, we had our uncles and everybody if it came down to it and we needed someone to protect us, but they
Uh-huh.
were everyday go-to role models. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Kids need that, I think. Like everybody, like people
Yeah.
are like, oh, like, moms can do it all. I agree, moms can do it all, but I think especially if you have a son, they need
Uh-huh.
a male figure, definitely,
Yeah.
definitely.
And I agree. Like I can't stress enough how good your mom did with you guys. But at the same time, she couldn't show you what a good man was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that was my job, and that's where I failed early on. But once I figured all that stuff out, I got out and did the best I could to be that to show you guys. Because I didn't want, especially my girls, I didn't want you guys bringing home somebody like I used to be.
And you want to know what's crazy is that I was with a freaking drug addict for 3 years.
Uh-huh.
It was horrible. It wasn't all horrible.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's fun. It's fun.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I can only imagine, you know, he used to leave for days at a time, maybe a week, but I could only imagine
Right.
mom went through months, years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I would drive
Mm-hmm.
around like where is he at? Like, and I didn't have no kids with him or nothing, so I wasn't tied down. So I can imagine like
Right.
mom had kids, so imagine her stress level. Like she was super strong to deal
Yeah.
with that.
No doubt about it.
So,
Definitely.
but thank God I was able to leave. Like, but mom
Yeah.
had your kids, so I mean, she loved you enough that she stuck it out, and we're very thankful
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah. No doubt about it.
But you came back into our lives at a time where we needed to see what a good man was. Like I was becoming a teenager and stuff like that,
Right.
like where I barely was starting to like boys, so I needed to see how a man
Yeah.
treated a woman at that time, Like that's
Right.
the most important time, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. We're gonna wrap it up here on this one. We might do another one if you, the viewers, enjoyed this. Thank you for joining us, Mona. I really appreciate it. Your insight is amazing. Is you want to plug any of your social medias or anything? Why we have you here?
My social media right now is just like family stuff, but pretty soon I will have some business stuff to plug that I will be getting
Okay,
that. But if the viewers
and we'll
have
get.
like questions for me as a daughter, then maybe we could do like part two.
Most definitely, most definitely. All right, so
But
family,
this was
fitness,
fun.
and
Thank you
freedom,
for having me.
of course. Family, fitness, and freedom are what helped me to get my life back together, and they can help you as well. I hope you guys enjoyed this interview, a glimpse into the life of an addict's child and how it affects them. Remember, don't look at the mountain, just start climbing.